a legacy of distrust, Arab states and Israel before the Accords. For decades, the relationship between Israel and its Arab neighbors was defined by conflict and mistrust. The creation of Israel in 1948 following the displacement of Palestinians led to deep resentment. Arab nations, seeing injustice in the displacement, refused to recognize Israel's legitimacy. This refusal was rooted in a sense of solidarity with the Palestinians. Their plight was seen as an Arab tragedy. The Arab League, formed in 1945, played a key role in this stance. Its members, united in their opposition to Israel, engaged in several wars against the young nation. These conflicts, including the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and the 1967 Six-Day War, only deepened the divide. The wars led to further territorial disputes and fueled the cycle of violence. There were, however, glimmers of hope. Egypt, in a historic move, signed a peace treaty with Israel in 1979. Jordan followed suit in 1994, demonstrating a willingness to seek peaceful solutions. These treaties, though significant, remained isolated examples. The majority of Arab states continued to condition normalization with Israel on the resolution of the Palestinian issue. The 2002 Arab Peace Initiative was one such attempt at a comprehensive solution. It offered Israel full normalization in exchange for a withdrawal from occupied territories and a Palestinian state. The initiative, though lauded internationally, failed to gain traction. Mistrust on both sides remained a formidable obstacle. The Arab-Israeli conflict, seemingly intractable, continued to cast a long shadow over the region. Trump's deal-making incentives for a new era. In 2017, Donald Trump entered the White House with a radically different approach to the Arab-Israeli conflict. Breaking from decades of U.S. policy, Trump focused on forging individual agreements rather than pushing for a comprehensive peace deal. This transactional approach, often criticized for ignoring the Palestinian issue, aimed to reshape regional dynamics. Central to Trump's strategy was the use of incentives. He recognized the changing priorities of Arab nations, particularly their growing economic and security concerns. Trump leveraged these concerns, offering a mix of diplomatic, military, and economic rewards in exchange for normalization with Israel. The prospect of advanced weaponry proved to be a powerful motivator. The United Arab Emirates, a key U.S. ally, was promised access to F-35 fighter jets, a deal previously considered off-limits. This offer, coupled with U.S. recognition of Moroccan sovereignty over Western Sahara, illustrated Trump's willingness to make significant concessions. Sudan, under pressure to shed its pariah state status, was offered a different kind of incentive. Trump promised to remove Sudan from the U.S. list of state sponsors of terrorism, paving the way for economic recovery. These tailored incentives, while controversial, proved effective in driving Arab states towards normalization. Trump's approach, dubbed the Abraham Accords, aimed to create a new regional order. This order, centered around shared interests rather than historical grievances, sought to contain Iranian influence and foster economic cooperation. Whether this transactional approach could deliver lasting peace remained to be seen. Handshakes and agreements, the Abraham Accords take shape. The Abraham Accords, a series of normalization agreements between Israel and Arab states, marked a significant shift in Middle Eastern diplomacy. Orchestrated by the Trump administration, the Accords sought to reshape regional alliances and counter Iranian influence. The first breakthrough came in August 2020 when the United Arab Emirates agreed to normalize relations with Israel. This historic agreement, formalized in a White House ceremony a month later, shattered a long-standing taboo. Bahrain quickly followed suit, signing its own normalization agreement alongside the UAE. These deals, hailed by the Trump administration as a foreign policy triumph, were met with mixed reactions internationally. Sudan, grappling with economic turmoil, became the third Arab state to join the Abraham Accords in October 2020. Its decision, driven by the promise of U.S. economic aid and removal from the terrorism sponsors list, highlighted the transactional nature of the agreements. Morocco, enticed by U.S. recognition of its claim over Western Sahara, followed suit in December 2020. The Abraham Accords, while limited in scope, represented a potential turning point in Arab-Israeli relations. They chipped away at the decades-old Arab consensus that normalization with Israel was contingent upon resolving the Palestinian issue. Instead, the Accords prioritized shared security and economic interests, signaling a potential paradigm shift in the region. a changed landscape, immediate impacts and uncertain futures. The signing of the Abraham Accords set in motion a flurry of diplomatic, economic and social changes across the Middle East. Embassies were established, direct flights were launched, and trade ties flourished. The once unthinkable sight of Israeli tourists strolling through the streets of Dubai became a reality. Economically, the Accords unlocked new opportunities for cooperation. Bilateral trade between Israel and the signatory Arab states surged. Joint ventures in technology, tourism, and energy promised mutual benefits. The Accords also fostered a sense of cultural exchange, with artists, musicians, and athletes bridging the divide. However, the Accords were not without their critics. Palestinian leaders felt betrayed, accusing the Arab signatories of abandoning the Palestinian cause. Iran, viewing the Accords as a threat to its regional ambitions, condemned them as a strategic mistake. The long-term impact of the Abraham Accords on the Middle East peace process remains uncertain. While they created new channels for dialogue and cooperation, they did not address the core issues of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Accords, rather than a solution in themselves, represented a potential building block for a more stable and prosperous future, contingent upon addressing the legitimate aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians.